quick question. You saying you're getting a lot of DMs, you're getting a lot of love from the ladies. You got a dude apparently. Danny, I know you got probably a roster. I'm assuming.
A roster?
Yeah, I'm just assuming. Amy, you're doing your thing. You got a man these days. You know, you're in a one-way open relationship, closed relationship.
I knew
right?
this was going to come up, but yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm only bringing it up because you said
still
it.
open?
It's still the same relationship, one-way open relationship. So, but typically we hang out together. It's not like I'm going out there nowadays and fucking 20 million girls a week. Mostly we just hang out together.
What is a one-way open relationship?
Yeah,
One-way open relationship is where one person can have sex with other people, another person exclusive to them. So in this case, I'm the one that can have sex with other people, and she has sex with me.
Was that her decision?
No, I forced her into it.
Oh.
I blackmailed her. Yeah, of course it was her decision.
Does she want to have sex with other men?
No,
Interesting.
because I'm just so good, she doesn't need to.
I guess
Okay.
so, yeah.
How
No,
did
I
that?
mean, we're happy. I don't know.
And there she is right there. She's not like a foreign object. She's right there. I mean, we didn't even bring her on. Love you. Say hi. How difficult a conversation is that where it's like, I'm going to do my thing.
It wasn't
You're not
difficult
gonna do
at all.
Oh.
Natty's a very special person who's very understanding and also non-jealous, which was very helpful. And yeah, I mean, we knew each other for a while, and it wasn't a difficult conversation. It was mutually brought upon.
Okay.
I didn't have to convince her or anything.
I've seen you do many debates with our friend Destiny.
Yeah.
Not to put his business out there in public, but he put his own business out there in public.
That he did.
What are the pitfalls of these open relationship situations? So it seems like, it's closed on her end, it's open on your end. Whereas with Destiny and Melina, if you guys don't know about that situation, they had a just complete open-ended relationship, guys, girls, whatever, coming and going, all that fun stuff. What are the pitfalls of these types of relationships? Where do you see it get ugly? Where does it work? How does it work? How serious can it get? Where are the pitfalls in all this?
I believe that you can have either exclusive monogamous relationship, which is what's going to work probably for the vast majority of people, or you can have a one-way open relationship, which will work for a small minority of people. The girl has to be extremely non-jealous. The guy has to be someone good with girls to get other girls. But two-way open relationships like Destiny, I think those are destined for disaster. And combined with the fact that it was long distance, because she was living in Sweden and he was living here, that's like a deathly combination. Long distance plus two-way open. You don't get to see the other person. Eventually she met a guy, and yeah, shit fell apart. I mean, I don't want to shit. Destiny's one of my good friends, so I'm not trying to shit on him, but that's kind of the facts of what happened.
No, we're friends with Destiny. I like
Yeah.
Destiny. This is the reality of the situation, though. Amy, you're friends with Destiny. I think you've been also sort of friends with Melina.
Yeah.
Based on that relationship, not that you're in that world, when you're in a relationship, you're committed. What have you learned from those types of relationships? Like when you hear a lot of guys I know, like when we did the big live Fresh and Fit event, and Melina was here, we asked like, how many guys want like multiple wives or have the opportunity to be with multiple women, but your woman doesn't get to do anything else? Like half the room was like, me, bro. And the reality is it's like maybe like one or two of you guys can pull off what Alex is doing. What have you learned from a woman's perspective, these types of situations?
I'll open by saying, like, I just really quick need to kind of vindicate something for Destiny. Not that I need to or anyone needs to do this on his behalf, but a lot of people said that Destiny preached that these two-way open relationships in general, are more successful than the average relationship. So really quick, Destiny has never once said that. In fact, many a time he said exactly what you just said, Alex, that monogamous relationships are what's going to be working 99.9% of the time. It takes an exceedingly rare person to be able to make an open relationship work. And I think that the ability to navigate that may only be slightly more difficult than the one-sided open relationship, at least from my perspective. I think that at the end of the day, a very high-value man, somebody who makes multiple six figures, millions of dollars, and at the end of the day, that's just a proxy for competence, right? How competent you are in several different areas of your life. Not all the time, but most of the time. Most of these 1% of guys are gonna cheat. Whether you know about it, whether you don't, they're gonna cheat. And one thing about men is they have the ability to be able to divorce emotions from logic. And so a man...
Some men.
Majority of men, right? When you're talking about the balance of probability, men versus women, Women, it's very unlikely that a woman would ever be able to cheat and be completely divorced of emotion in that instance. Like, most of the time, it's going to be emotionally driven.
Alex, why do you disagree with that
No,
comment?
I agree with what she just said. I disagree with the part that most men are capable of separating those two things. There's this idea that men are logical, women are emotional. Men are just as emotional as women, just different ways.
It's true.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, I think that some guys could do it. I think more guys are able to do that than more women. But I think a lot of guys, that's why you see so many cases of like a guy who's happily married, then he meets a younger woman, he has sex with her, and somehow he winds up leaving the woman that he loves for like some younger piece of ass, and then like 5 years later he regrets it. He's like, oh fuck, I fucked up. So I think guys are just as emotional as women in different ways. But yeah, we are a bit better at separating those two things, but not always. Not all guys.
And so I think that, you know, when it comes down to it, oftentimes men who are within that bracket, when they have the opportunity, right? When they have the opportunity to be able to do that, oftentimes they're going to take advantage of it. So my honest advice for myself and for other women out there is, if you do want a monogamous relationship with a high value man, find a man of faith. Because oftentimes his faith is going to be able to overpower those animalistic kind of instincts that kick in, because that's just natural for a man to feel that way, you know? I do think that the one-sided open relationship can work when a woman can truly understand that my man is able to be devoid of emotion in this instance. But I think for women who want something that's exclusively monogamous, just find a man of faith.
Yeah,
So,
I'm emotional.
Amy,
I have no emotions.
Your argument is that the top guys out there, the top G's of the world, if you will, that they're going to be more inclined to cheat because they have the more options, they have higher status, they have the ability to garner more resources and more women. So you're saying it's inevitable that they're going to cheat. So in order to shield yourself as a woman, as a defense mechanism, make sure he has a relationship with God.
Not necessarily
as if
as a
that
defense
will
mechanism.
prevent him from cheating. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, not necessarily just as a defense mechanism. I mean, that could be a good enough reason. I think there should be other reasons why you should want a man of faith as well, for the, you know, stability that's going to provide, the example it's going to set for your future children. Various other factors, but absolutely, if you want a man who's going to be monogamous to you, there's very few things that are going to be able to stub out a man's, like, animalistic kind of ingrained senses. And when he has the opportunity to be able to cheat, unless there's like a higher power or he's extremely personally developed and he's really worked on himself and his self-control, most of the time he's not going to be able to say no to that. But a man of faith, he's drawing from a higher power, something that's bigger than him, something that's bigger than his own logic and reason. And so oftentimes he's going to be able to overcome that.
How important is loyalty on, like, this is for everyone right here, on your hierarchy of needs in a relationship? Meaning, if a guy was going to put this list together, there's no way that loyalty will not be in his top three.
It's top one.
Okay, exactly. Like, he's not going to run out there and be embarrassed by his girl. Like, no, that's not happening, okay? But a woman maybe will make certain exceptions for a certain type of guy. If he's super good looking and if he's super high status and super rich, you know, as Andrew Tate would like to say, nobody's locking down Chris Paul, Chris Paul too, by the way. Chris Brown expecting him not to cheat, you know, these hoes ain't loyal. Where is loyalty on your top 10 list?
I think it has much more to do with whether the girl is jealous or non-jealous and how open-minded she is. You can be the biggest rock star ever, and if the girl you're trying to date, have a one-way open relationship with, is jealous, it won't work, no matter how much money you have. Eventually, she'll build resentment towards you. So I think there's way too much focus on, like, oh, this person has so much money. Money can't overcome basic emotions. Like, eventually the girl will feel frustrated, will build up resentment, unless she's, like, that type of girl that feels, like, zero jealousy, and she's super open to the idea.
Okay.
You can't just, like, kind of use money. Money can be a Band-Aid for a period of time, but it's not a long-term solution.
Well, money is one component of status. It could be fame, it could be network, it could be a multitude of factors. It could be obviously being a rock star, being an NBA athlete. But Amy, how important is loyalty to you?
I would rank it up there, although I will say just
Top 3, top 5, top 10?
Top 5, and I will
Okay.
say that based off my personal experience, I have forgiven infidelity. I have forgiven it when I've seen the that in other areas of the relationship, it is outweighing the pain I feel, and you weigh the cost-benefit analysis of, okay, but there's all these other great qualities, our potential future, our potential family. I think it's the ability to be able to for women, which is difficult, sometimes separate your emotional brain from your logical brain, conduct a cost-benefit analysis. For me, it's important, but it is something that I'd probably be able to overlook.
Gotcha. So top 5, not top 3. How about you, Danny? Where's loyalty? Your man's loyalty.
I would say 1.
Number 1.
Number 1. If anything, top 3. I mean, listen, like for me, I want to be in a monogamous marriage relationship with kids. I grew up with a family that's, my parents are still together. There's never been any sort of, infidelity. And I think in today's day and age, it's just like Amy, right? Just like Amy saying, like, unfortunately, these men that are so high value, as you say, they have too many options. So, I would agree that going for a man of faith will definitely make that not so much happen. But I would say top 1. I mean, I definitely am looking for loyalty in my relationship, loyalty in my friendships too. It's definitely important.
Okay. How about you, Maya?
I definitely would say loyalty is number 1. Now, what I don't want the guy who's probably interested in me to feel, or my future husband, I don't want you to feel like it's okay to cheat on me. Let me make that a big disclaimer. But loyalty runs beyond, like you said, you forgave someone. Loyalty as in, I know you're loyal to me to the point you wouldn't let this other chick disrespect me. You wouldn't disrespect me. You wouldn't let an organization disrespect me. You wouldn't let the bills disrespect me.
Yeah,
like
very
loyalty in that way. But of course, I don't want you to cheat on me. Maybe I could forgive it. I don't know. When I hit that door, I'll find out. But more so, the loyalty is not between organs bumping each other. The loyalty and my face when I go somewhere. Do you know how to act? So when you get too drunk, it's certain things like loyal to your character, loyal to, the relationship we build or business we build. Like, how loyal are you beyond that? Even if you get mad at me because I got mad at you for cheating, are you going to be a reasonable man and see it? Or are you going to be irrational and selfish and choose not to see it? So,
Well said.
I like your answer.
Well said, yeah.
How important is loyalty on your top 10 list? Where does it rank?
It's definitely in the top 3. I would say, I don't even know what to name it, what number. I would just say it's one of the most important factors of a successful and healthy relationship is having loyalty to each other. And like Amy was saying, I've seen time and time again where, like, because I have a relationship with God, because I have a relationship with, like, Holy Spirit, I get convicted. If I am to do something sinful, I literally feel like, terrible, and I get turned off to doing something that was sinful. So
Same.
if that happens to me over and over again, I want my husband to have that same conviction that it's like, no, and God will give that to you. If you ask him, like, he will lead you and he will help you to stay away from things that are harmful to you and your body. And so I would want a man who is loyal to God first and foremost, because if you're loyal to God, you're going to be loyal to his commandments, and his commandments are for your good, for your well-being. And then if we're doing that together and then loyal to one another, that's beauty.
What
right
if you're a
there.
Mormon and your God tells you can have 3 wives?
Well, I'm not Mormon, so praise the Lord.
You can have more men, though. You guys are out here acting like if someone's religious that they're never going to cheat.
No,
I mean, there's
religious people
countless
do
stories
cheat.
out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
They get
It's not to
divorced
say-
significantly
There's
less.
a
I will
difference
acknowledge
between
that.
people who are religious on paper and people who have a relationship with God.
With God,
though.
yeah.
And so, like, that's what I mean. Like, if you can find a man who really has that relationship with God,
How do you even screen for that? Like, how does
Right.
that
Go to
process-
church.
Yeah, but like, there's a lot of people who go to church though. Like,
It's-
You're
it's-
right,
it's-
you're
it's
right.
really
see
hard
in
to
their
quantify.
actions. You can see in the day to day if
It's
somebody thinks
intangibles.
about when you
Yeah.
make certain decisions, where did their source of their decisions come from? Is it from the people in your ear? Is it from the God that you pray? Is it where does the reasoning for your decisions come from? So you can see that. I can tell instantly with a guy, based on their decisions. You don't go to church. Clearly don't go to church.
You don't have
clearly
morals.
don't have any
but
morals.
what
You
if you're
clearly
someone
don't
that's
have
really
any.
ethical, but you're just not religious?
Well, that's okay. That's still possible. It doesn't mean that you can't see that. I can meet somebody who makes great decisions and they're great business, they're successful, they have great relationships, but I can also see that they lack in the area of spirituality. It's very visual.
Guys, let's everybody hold hands for a second. Let's pray.
Let's pray.
Let's pray for these hoes out here. Find yourself a loyal man out there. Find yourself a good man. And if he does cheat, make sure he's got a lot of money. Whoa, whoa, whoa. If you like that one, click right here to watch the full SOSCAST. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel.